Willkommen alle zusammen. Cheryl ist da. Ugly Dave ist da. Und das ist die Not So Live Show aus Berlin. Cheryl, wie geht's?
I'm pretty impressed with what you've been able to pick up in a short amount of time. I'm kind of overwhelmed.
You know that person that comes back from Europe and is 100% annoying about it? That's going to be me. Hope Atlanta is ready. I have had a great time. This has been amazing. It's sort of a vacation because I don't have to go straight home because I'm going to Croatia next. So I basically was like, at first I was really like adventurous, like, ooh, I could go to all these different towns. It's like, Matt, that's way too much to fucking plan. I literally didn't buy my train ticket to Berlin until the day of, and then I didn't book this hotel until I was in the train. Like there's no way I could plan a 5-day adventure. So anyway, so I'm in Berlin and it's pretty cool. And I don't know, I like the German language. People don't like it. I've always kind of liked it.
It's a little harsh.
When you hear people angrily in German, it's a little scary. But again, I have this weird like core memory of high school that I know just enough, right? Like I know how to say the V's instead of the W. It's not Tim Weinish, right? Like I know that, right? Mm-hmm. And I know a couple of the basics, like the weird looking S, right? And like for some reason, it's like if you take Spanish for 1 year, but you remember some of it. And so then I've just been doing the thing where like I point to stuff and learn it. So I'm like learning German one word at a time. I mean, obviously that was through chat and I had to read it. Okay. But the audio listeners will be impressed. It'll sound like I just rifled it off.
I think it's a beautiful language. And I like how just kind of straightforward the Germans are. Like, they're kind of all business in some ways. And I think their language reflects that. So
I feel like I didn't know the personality of the Germans until I started dealing with HYROX people, and they're just super hard to read.
Yeah. No, I knew an American who lived over there for a couple of years, and they were trying to kind of be nice to people. So they would bake cookies and then run and put them on the doorsteps of these people and knock and run. And then hide in the bushes to see. And, if it's Americans, we like open the door and we're all delighted. Oh, somebody brought me cookies. And these people did not get it at all. Like they just didn't understand. Why would somebody leave cookies on my doorstep? Who is this person? So I do think they're a little more straightforward.
The problem I have with the German language is, and I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but the whole describe for me or point out to me a romantic German movie. Where like, I don't know, the actual is that like language,
right? Like you can't speak and it sound like even if you whispered, it sounds a little angry.
Yeah. It's compared to like Italian or something like that.
The French,
French, sure. You just fall in love. Somebody starts talking, you just melt. Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm also just trying not to be a loud, annoying American. Speaking of which, I'm going to say something really bad. You know what they don't have here? Fat people. I noticed an overweight person today, and I realized it's the first fucking one I'd seen in the entire time I've been here. And I know as a rule, Americans are bigger, but I think England's kind of caught up. But they stood out to me. Doesn't mean they're bad people. I'm just saying, I was like, oh yeah, that exists here.
Was it an American?
They're a healthy. I couldn't tell. They did look like tourists, but I couldn't tell from what country. But I'm just, like I said, I'm trying not to be. So like I walk up to the barista or whoever and I say auf English, like just not to just start yammering at somebody in English. And they say, of course. And then, I've learned like, 6 words today and maybe I'll learn 5 tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you want to order a straw. It's like, ask my friend chat, what's straw? And then you can just say that word. You don't even have to say, where is the straw? You can just say Strohwasser or whatever the word is. And now you know that word, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Are you using Google Translate and stuff like that?
Google Translate, what's that? Chat's my best friend. I mean,
well, that's true. I
used Google Translate when I was in China a few years ago, but now, I mean, just chat, because chat will say, do you want to ask it formally? Do you want to just say, do you want to sound like a regular person? Do you want to say what they would actually say?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. it's a nice thing that all this technology has come along when we start getting involved in a sport that takes us everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of HYROX to cover. And according to a recent audience member, Dave doesn't talk enough.
Mm-hmm.
So we are 100% going to start with Toronto HYROX, which Dave was at. I'm going to start by saying there were, according to high results, which is usually about the same as mine, I just didn't look at mine yet, 10,817 athletes, double last year. Last year was about 5,300. And if you recall, I remember Sunday feeling a little flat, Sunday feeling like a half empty kind of a day. Dave, let's do first and foremost overall vibe check of the weekend, and then we'll get into specifics.
All right, I'm not great at the vibe check thing. I'm terrible at the vibe check because I'm so old and cranky.
Oh yeah, you were the one that when I got to New York was like, this sucks. Everyone's like, New York's amazing. You're like, fuck this place. The judges are garbage.
Yeah, judges are garbage. Parking's expensive. So all right. I'll try my best. It was very busy. So if you liked people, it was a good spot to be. It was very people-y. Lots of people. It was like all the time, right? Everything, the music was pounding, everything was going. People were in good spirits. It was a good atmosphere. A lot of people, and I said it makes me laugh as my generation to see people line up to take a picture in front of a banner. I kind of laugh at that. I'm like, whatever, do your thing.
As do I.
Yeah, I'm like, sure, have fun.
Right.
I am not lining up for that one.
Question though, it was busy, but was it crowded?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was crowded.
Was it tough to get in and out? That's kind of a big barometer, right?
It was, yeah, it was, but I think that they managed it as well as possible. So for the amount of people that were there, they managed it well. In my mind, HYROX oversells. I've said that for a while, but for the amount of people that they had there, they managed it well. I don't think they could have done it much better. As far as like course crossing, maybe they need to get a second course crossing but it's still, I never had to wait. They use that valve system, right? I never had to wait more than like one time, and I didn't get in, and then on second. So
that's not bad.
Not terrible,
well, usually there's two valves. There's the coming in and the coming out. That's why they don't have more than two, right?
Yes, yeah, there is. But I mean, they may need. I'm thinking they're going so much, they might need another setup like that at the other end. But compared to New York, like you say, when you use New York was a shit show getting it out. You were 40, 50 minutes trying to get across. This was not like that at all. It was acceptable. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, but the vibe was good. Too many people for me, but for the people who were interested in that, which is far more the majority, it was good.
Right.
Yeah.
I told you my wife felt the same way, and we went on Sunday when it had a similar kind of half empty feel. It was too much for her.
Well, I was there Friday. Friday was not as busy as Sunday. Sunday, and I'm assuming Saturday, because I didn't get down there Saturday, were packed.
So Friday, you race solo, Sunday doubles. Is that what it was?
Yeah. No, Friday solo, Sunday relay.
Okay. So, I caught you pulling a sled. Were you out for a good time? Were you out for
I was out just to finish. And even that became difficult for me. I absolutely shit the bed. It was absolutely horrible. I was really, really bad.
To what do you attribute that?
Well, mostly not being prepared. My training has not been conducive to HYROX. I've not been planning for me to run the HYROX Pro is just to run through it, right? I didn't care. I had no ambitions of podiuming. I had no ambitions of anything like that. I just checking it off the list. But yeah, so I'm like, I'll be straight up. My primary focus for this year, especially, has now become the mile ruck, which couldn't be any more different. Right. So this was definitely different for me. The weights weren't a problem for me. I didn't have any issues with any of the weight or anything like that. Pushing a sled was okay. It was fine. I actually took my time, but I bonked huge because I've not been training to be going that long. And so to run that long and to push that long just crushed me. And then
have I taught you nothing, Dave? I'm over here not training for the last 2 years and sucking. You should learn from me.
Yeah, but I mean, and I still I got through it, right? I just it was rough on me. By the time I got to the wall balls, Oh my God, I was so sweaty and the ball was soaked. And I literally couldn't catch it anymore. It just kept slipping through my hands and I'm like, fuck it. So I just let it drop, pick it back up, throw again, let it drop, pick it back up, throw it, because I didn't care. And I was bonked so bad that it wasn't worth it for me. So, but no, it was honestly, it was just
you needed a little extra chalk in your pants. That would have solved that problem.
That's the thing. The talk in the RMR group chats are a lot about starting to bring gloves for the wall balls because they're not giving us chalk. And it is, well, in Chicago, too slippery, right? So I end up on the floor trying to wipe my hands and Matt thinks I'm dying, right? Like there's no real solution to this. I think it's kind of a problem. So I can see why if you're tired already, that just makes it worse.
So can I ask the obvious question? How is this an issue? Like when Spartan doesn't make medals or shirts, like we think it's nuts that they can't provide that, but at least those are like, I don't know, got to come from a warehouse in China. It's fucking chalk. What is the issue?
I'm going to assume it's the cleaning things up from it.
Mm-hmm.
So they just bring a little so they don't have to clean more up.
There's no chalk.
But I mean, it gets everywhere, right? Like,
but it exists. But it exists at the pole.
Yeah,
right.
And at the farmer.
Well, if you're lucky, Cat Fossbender didn't have chalk at the farmer carry this time. I mean, that would make me panic.
So that's what I'm talking about. That people seem to keep posting this issue, so I don't understand how it's.
Well, it's like anything, right? The little things slip through sometimes, right? And you're trying to get this big promotion going, and then oh crap, we forgot the chalk.
This seems like an easy one to solve.
And you know what's really easy is if they just let us take some liquid chalk with us. The fact that they're not even letting us do that makes it a real issue, right?
Yeah.
Because I'd love to have something. I mean, I've seen this happen. People stick them in their shorts. They got the little vial. Yeah. Works great.
No one would do that. Come on, Cheryl. That's nuts. But Cheryl, I think I might know your problem, and maybe not. But on the front of your thing, like the part that I can see, I think there might be there is actually like a little dial.
Yes.
And I think if you dial it up, maybe.
Okay. I will dial it up. Does that help?
I wanted to say something else about Toronto. There was a lot of improvement from last year as far as the organization, the logistics, stuff like that there was definitive improvement. So it was noticeable. There were some things I didn't like compared to last year, but the actual organization and application, everything ran on time. They ran it very well. It was really well done that way.
It sounds like you did turn it up, Cheryl. Did a car just drive by? No, it's fine. You're fine. Don't even. I should have told you that before. It's fine. You're good.
Okay. I'll just leave it alone.
So when you say what was not organized last year, I don't remember.
Well, just last year, I mean, like I'm talking like registration, where judges are to be, organizationally, things like that. The logistical part of it. This time they seemed like they did. I mean, it's the first time, last time, this time, second time, they did a better job. So that was, I just given them the credit where they deserve. They ran a tight ship. The relay transition zone was 1,000 times better than last year.
Well, because they've figured out to move it in a different spot. Now we don't do it in the middle anymore.
Yeah. So I mean, that was way better. It was a much better setup and ran very smoothly. Logistically they did a great job. I didn't like the course setup as much as last year because it wasn't numerical. So I don't know why they did that. And I do know somebody who got disqualified because of that.
Who did?
Friend, he got disqualified because he did his stations out of order.
Oh, he did his stations out of order.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look. I'm like, oh, what's the map look like? I'm like, oh yeah, I posted it.
Yeah. So it went like, if you went in order, it went skier, then row.
Right.
Then push, pull, burpees, lunges, then farmer carry, and then the wall balls were outside of the track, outside of the rock zone.
Yeah, so I don't understand because even Hamburg has this kind of that everything's in order except the wall balls in the middle. I thought that was like our new, this is the setup.
Yeah, and that's what they did last year, but this year they did it different. And what caught him out was he did a skier and then he knew to skip the rower, right? So then he did the rest all in order and then went back to the rower because he realized he forgot it. So it means he did ski erg, push, pull, burpees, lunges, farmer, rower, wall balls.
Yeah. See, to me, that's not the hard.
DQ.
To me, laps are much harder to count than that because it tells you, right? It does tell you, 4 or 5 or whatever it says.
Oh, and that did malfunction a lot.
And then you find those things. I just think that's always what I've done. Is like, okay, I'm looking for 2. I've never thought, is it in order or not? I've just said, where is 2? Show me where that is, and I'll go to it.
Now he was going fast. He was running a pretty quick time. So I mean,
right.
But anyway,
right.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it should be easier to lose track of that. But yeah, I still would like the numerical order. And yeah, I guess the screen telling you when laps are next, that malfunction. It never worked at all while I was out there.
It never works. It never works.
I tell people never to count on it for telling you whether to run or not run. Like the number of laps, but I feel like most of the time it does, and they're like, okay, I'm doing 4 anyway.
Another thing, and this is something I've complained about a lot in the past. The counters worked perfectly. I never saw one malfunction.
Okay. Well,
the wall ball counters.
They didn't have a fight. They didn't have a fight with their wife the night before, Dave.
No, I guess not. They were not all jacked up on coffee.
Yeah, Chris Pavlicek, she had a really bad sled lane. Did you hear of anybody else who were getting unlucky on sleds?
Yeah, I did.
I think it's going to be a thing going forward. I think you need to plan for it.
Here's the thing. I don't think it's the consistency from lane to lane is any different than it was with the carpet.
Okay.
I personally thought, for me, if I compared the sleds this year to last year, they were actually harder.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that I got a bad lane. I couldn't say because I did pro on the one day and then open the next day because we did the relays, open weights. And, so you can't really compare the two. The open weight felt lighter, Right. So I can't tell if I got a bad lane or not. I don't think I did. But I did hear some people say they think they got a bad lane. But you never know, right? Some people are just like, I got a bad lane because I had a bad time, right? How do you know unless you've tested some of the other ones, or if you see this giant difference like we had seen at Chicago where it was so blatantly obvious?
It's stopping cold in the middle, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and the turf did stay very consistent for me. So even though when the sleds felt heavy, at no point did it feel like the turf was bunching for me or anything like that. It actually went
and
well.
I'd be up for that. That would not bother me. It's when I kind of hit you hit a little wall and you sort of panic and don't know if it's going to go. I just think part of the race going forward is if we're going to race it, we need to be prepared to have a bad sled lane. I just think that's going to.
I had a guy beside me struggle very highly, but I don't know if I didn't know him, so I don't know if that was just him or if he got a bad lane.
Yeah. So I just think we're going to need to get a little bit more mentally tough because it just made me fall apart, right? Like I just gave up after that. And I just think we're going to need to learn how to not do that.
And I don't think they should stop their struggle to find a way for consistency. I mean, just because I don't think they should just go, well, it is what it is. Let's accept it. I think.
I think they're always trying to make it. I think they are trying to fix it. I mean, I don't think they handled what happened in Chicago perfectly, but I do think they are trying to fix it. Did you see there was a video of a woman who posted how the sled stopped her in her tracks, but then people were commenting that she was getting higher on the sled.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, it's not binary though. It was kind of both, wasn't it? Like it gets stuck. And so she was sliding up a little bit. You guys obviously know what the video I'm talking about. So it was inconclusive to me. I was like, is it both?
So to me, the physics of the sled are like this. Okay. And I'm somebody who gets low on the sled. So I get very low and I push. So when I'm very low, the back end doesn't pick up, which means I have more contact with the ground, right? So there's more sled touching the ground. Now, that can affect the way it moves. If you pick it up sometimes, and if you get it right at the right angle, you have very little contact with the ground. And as long as it doesn't dig in, you've got less surface tension, right? Because you're not touching as much ground. Like picture having a very small tire compared to a very wide tire. Very wide tire, you got more surface contact, you get more traction. So if you have more of the sled on the ground, you get more traction. If you can angle it just right and get the back end up, you have less contact, and therefore it can move easier. Right. So if you get more more practice with it, you can get that figured out. But if you go too far, you dig the front end.
And so that's what she was doing, you're saying?
It did look like that, yeah.
Somebody was implying that that's what she was doing.
Yeah. That's what can happen if you pick the back end up. But if
and
you get
she
it just
got
right,
very upset. I've done 100 HYROXes.
She has. She beat me in Nice.
I mean, but that doesn't, I don't know why that was like Hunter's voice. I don't know where that came from. It doesn't sound like that. But like I said, it was tough. Like I didn't slow it down. I did watch it a couple of times, and there was one time she was really high, but I thought, she's slipping a little bit, and that's why it was getting worse, because it was digging it a little bit.
I will also say that when you get tired, you start getting higher. Exactly. At least that was my experience.
Exactly. You don't, it's like watching your reps in the mirror, because you don't know how bad your reps are. Like same thing. Like she probably did not notice that that's what was happening. Yeah.
And you just get so exhausted. Getting low is just more effort. And so you're just trying to move the thing, and it's a bad combination. But I just think we're seeing, it feels like every race, there's an occasional video where it's pretty clear that there's still an issue with that. And we just need to decide if we're going to put up with it.
Yeah. Well, clearly the numbers would say we're putting up with it.
I think everybody's okay with it. Yeah.
Well, and again, most people don't give a shit.
Or they're not even aware. Or if it's
those 10,000 people that finished.
Right.
Let's say 500 care. And the rest are just out there to get their pictures and running around in circles.
Well, how many are going for an age group time?
Right. Not even 500 probably.
Well, let's think about it. 15 in every age group?
Yeah, 10 to 15. That sounds about right.
Okay, so how many what is that?
I don't know. It wouldn't be 5. Well, I mean, if you added relays and everything else, yeah, you're probably close to 500.
I feel like if we're to compare it to OCR, don't you feel like the general population, there's a greater percentage, where a Spartan, it's like literally nobody cares except for the elite in the age group, and then everyone else is just like, woohoo, we're flopping in the mud. But because these are gym people who like to test themselves, there's a higher percentage.
I'm still thinking 5 to 10 max.
All right. Anybody who's listening to this, I'd love to hear your thoughts, because I think it's higher.
Well, and even if they're not competing for a podium, they're trying to best their time.
Yes.
And they're going to get frustrated if there's no chalk that's going to, mess up their farmer carry, or they get a bad sled lane that's like out of their control, right? They want to be able to, the reason why we do these races is because there's so much control. So yeah, I can see where there'd be quite a few people.
Yep.
Did you guys have the wristbands that we had, the electronic ones?
No. We had the old school ones.
It's pretty cool.
I think that was the first.
They're just going to do that at majors.
I don't think so. I think they want to. It makes life a lot easier. Let me know when we're ready to talk about it, and I'll dive into that.
I would go now. Well, am I got anything else about Toronto? Relay was awesome, fantastic. My first relay, loved it. Just to a little knock, or not a knock, but to note the level of competition rising. Me and my team, we came 9th in over 40. Our time would have won last year.
Wow. Well, 5,000 more people, right?
Jesse Bruce put in an over 40 team. What's up with that, Jesse?
What did what were your stations, Dave?
I did push and lunges.
Did you? Was it this? That was the only race you had on Sunday?
Yeah.
So how fast did you want to run, and how fast did you run?
I wanted to run like low 4s, high 3s for my kilometers. I have no idea what I ran, because for some reason none of our run splits went through.
That happens in relays, I think, all the time. I don't know why, but
yeah, and not just our team, nobody's. You got your first guy, and that was it.
Yeah, sometimes that happens in relay.
Yeah. And then I was very happy with my lunges. I was worried that was going to be a very weak link for me. They're not a strong, not my strongest station, and actually it went really well. So I was very happy. Although I was running like a deer on ice right after it, trying to get to the transition. But
I could imagine. Do you soft toe it, like doop doop doop, or do you like full step of rest? Like what's your lunge method?
Well, for the relay, I was trying to go full step as much as
possible.
Boom. I think I passed 4 people on the lunges.
So not even the little half touch. Just
because that's
there was some of that.
Weight.
Yeah, it's the open weight, right? And there was some of it, but I also, shockingly, that was during my race, and this was the other thing. When we went out for relays, there was still a lot of open women doubles out there.
Right.
And so the course was still very crowded. When I did my first run, there was a lot of people out there. That was the push. But when I did the second run, not a lot on the running course, but actually at the lunges was quite crowded. I had to cut clear cross twice to get around people, to get past people. So it was, yeah, it was busy. So, yeah, so there were some times where I would do the stop step.
I do have something to report from a listener. So it's one person. These are not confirmed. I saw the fire and ambulance there 7 times. And I said, what do you mean? And he or she said, it was the women's open, and it was about what you're saying, that this race isn't for everyone. I said, now, are you exaggerating? He said, nope, it was 7 separate times, and I wasn't even there the whole day.
I don't think that they're exaggerating.
Okay.
We actually,
it was Zach Tate, by the way. I was just being cute, but it was Zach.
We and he was there a lot. He was there a lot. He would know. But yeah, I do know that when we finished. So when I finished my lunges, I tagged in my teammate to do the wall ball run, and we had to make our way across the course to get to the wall balls to join him for the finish. We almost didn't get there. We got there when he was at 75, because we couldn't get across the course because they had someone on a stretcher taking them off course. So, I mean,
Cheryl's eyes almost rolled into the back of her head just then.
I would definitely say I would not be surprised at the 7 or more.
Well, I know that on a Facebook group chat, somebody said, did anybody know what happened to the woman that was at sled pull when I was in the race, who was laying there? Like, people are checking up on strangers.
Well, on really hot days, it's happened at OCR all the time. We've lost people, sadly, that had heart attacks at the venue and then later died, or like, just heat just takes people out, in shape people, but certainly people who don't train and their friend told them this would be fun. So I'm not, I'm sure there'll be a story one day and it's like, person has a HYROX heart attack and they'll be in the news for 5 minutes or whatever, but it's bound to happen. I mean, at least it's indoors, right? So probably less likely than a marathon. What's that?
They were pumping the AC. They were pumping the AC as much as they could.
As long as it's
not. It wasn't heat.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't heat.
It was just people unprepared.
I would say just people unprepared. I didn't find it hot.
Okay. You don't find it. Okay. What are they passing out from then?
They're not ready.
Overdoing it. They're not ready. A lot of them are cramping up big time and just.
I feel like, okay, maybe I'm an idiot. I'm feeling like when your body shuts down, part of it, it's usually you're not cool. You're usually on fire, right? If your body's like.
But as far as the venue, like it was not a hot venue. It was not.
I'm not saying it was a hot venue. I'm saying, isn't that what happens? You still overheat because your blah pound body isn't prepared to do X amount of work.
Yep.
That's what I meant. Overheating, not in the sauna sense.
Yeah,
I just got out of the sauna, by the way. Thought I'd share that with you.
Not a sauna guy.
You got out of it. Did you go to the German sauna?
Ladies and gentlemen, if we're ready to jump into Germany talk, I'm here to tell you that there's this phrase we use. It goes around 12-step a lot, but it's really just self-help in general. And they say, hey, if you're not confident, when you walk into this job interview, like act as if. Just act as if you are confident. Like, it's kind of a way to trick your mind. It's kind of the fake it till you make it thing. So I'm not wealthy, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm just acting as if I am. This hotel is amazing. I was like, I got a couple hours before this call. I'm going to go work out in the gym. Then I'm going to go sit in the sauna for 10 minutes. Then I'm going to jump in the pool. I mean, you can see, this is the life of kings, really.
The last thing you posted about German saunas is that they don't let you wear clothes.
All right, so let's talk about this. I have been to what we call the Schwitz before. Okay, they're in like most cities, and it's typically, they're usually places that men go, and you get naked and you sit in the thing, and then usually there might be cigars afterwards. And then even those places will have like a woman's day. It is not a co-ed situation. Or if there's a co-ed day, it's keep your clothes on. Like, so in America, like I've been to these things, it's kind of a dude thing, right? Like if you watch all the mafia movies, they're always sitting in there, sweating together. So I see this sign and it says, no clothing. And I'm like, hey, chat, do they mean optional? They're like, nope, they want no clothing. And I'm like, well, there's no one here and I'm not quite ready. So I'm going with my shorts on. So I went in with my shorts on. This was yesterday. And I sat there for like 5 minutes, and sure enough, naked dude walks in, goes over and does his thing, whatever. So then today, I'm like, all right, man, when in Rome, just fucking roll with it. You know what I mean? Not the biggest deal in the world. So yeah, so I went in, and here's the only issue with a public schwitz that's not your friends, right? Is that some people want to pour the fucking water over the coals every 5 minutes, right? Mm. And this guy was doing it like every 2. And I wanted to go, would you fucking stop? I am hot. Well, I mean, it's already like if you breathe, it's you hot. Feel it at the bottom of your lungs. Mm-hmm. And then the pool is this pool is cold. The one I was in the last town was like you got used to it as soon as you hopped in. But I feel like, why is it so much easier for me to just go downstairs and work out for 10 minutes or 30 minutes? When I'm home, I'm like, well, I don't have time to work out. I guess I'm not going to work out. You know what I mean? It's so much harder to, like, I don't know. Is it because just home is so comfy?
Well, and there's other things you think you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like paying attention to
people. That's why people struggle with staycations, right? Because it's like, I can't just stay home and do nothing because I have all these things I need to do. So I need to go somewhere else where I can't possibly do those things.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Like pay attention to my children, right? Like I got to do that. But here, not.
Take that thing over to there that you needed to be doing for a while, or, there's always something.
Right. So anyway, probably more of the same tomorrow. Actually, I was going to do some sightseeing. A lot of stuff was closed, but I still walked around. And I sent my wife a video. I said, this is like a living postcard. I mean, it's fall. It's not too cold. I take so many pictures. I have to find this video.
It's a great time of year to be there.
It's kind of the perfect time of year to be here. I'm going to go ahead and say, in my power rankings, this right now is number 2, right under Croatia, as best places I've been, where I'm about to go next. And it's always, we always talk about recency bias. But I got to say, like London, like it's just touristy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you can go, there are a lot of historical things that you can do. And I went by some of them, but just as a cool city to walk around, it's like, I feel like I'm walking in a postcard. Like I said, it's this beautiful fall day. So who knew? Berlin, ladies and gentlemen, who knew? Great town.
I think a lot of people know. I just think we didn't know.
Yeah. Well, because it's like you go to a lot of countries and there's still a lot of stuff in English. German, most of the stuff's not. It just isn't. I'm working out downstairs and all the pounds, all the weights are kg. I'm getting on the machine. I was just going to do like a little jog. And I was like, there's like 7 things, right? And as I'm running, I'm like, I think this one's the running time. I think this one's the calories. I think this one's the kilometers per hour, except I have to then convert the minutes to kilometers per hour. But yeah, it's like everything you need. They had a rower, they got free weights, they got the pool and the sauna. Oh, I did. So the first day before I got in the big sauna, there was another like red light sauna room or something, like a small little one. And I walked in there and there was a woman in there who I think was probably 80 years old. So that was like a whoops situation. Because she was not clothed. But yeah.
But do you walk right out? Like, does it make it worse to see her and then turn around and walk right out?
It was all in one. It was all in one motion. You know what I mean? It was kind of like doing that thing at the farmer's care. I just was like, I was out of there because it wasn't like a room. The actual sauna is like this little like actual room.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I'll do the same tomorrow. I'll sleep really late because I'm on this crazy clock, and I'll walk around and work, and then come back and do the thing. So yeah, I've done more exercising this week than I have in a long time.
Can I say one thing? It links into your gender mixing zones.
Yes.
That was something else at Toronto that actually was a problem. We did not have enough bathroom space. And many times we'd go in the men's bathroom and there'd be like 10 women in there.
Yeah.
Waiting
We'll
in line
take
at
them
the
over
stall.
if we need to.
Yeah. You learn that as a young man, like when you go to a concert and you're like, hey, what are those women are doing in here?
Well,
We're
the
like,
thing is,
"Leave us
I don't
alone."
mind. That doesn't bother me. But now you've created a line in my bathroom.
Yeah.
And now I have to wait because the women are there. So I think this, like, I don't mind you coming, but I think if a guy walks into the guy's bathroom and there's a line for the women, he should be able to bypass to the front of the line.
Okay.
I'd concede that.
Yeah.
Because y'all are quick.
That's where I'm drawing the line there.
Relatively.
Yeah. Okay. I'd be all right with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll take over your bathrooms. It happened in Nice where we needed to get there. The bathroom situation was so bad in that venue. And it's the first thing I look for when I get to these places is how am I going to handle this? Because nerves kick in. So it's too bad. How was the venue in Hamburg?
All right. So I'm sure you've seen, if you watch the live stream, you saw my stuff. Just the production value seems to just go up every year, right? Oh. They just figure out how to make it better and better every year. And I was so excited to try out this thing that they were calling HYROX House, right? Remember, it's like, 130 pounds and you get special access and coffee and whatever. And, it's just those two cargo containers on top of each other, right? Like they had them in Chicago. But I noticed, I'm really glad I didn't buy one because I noticed a couple days before it no longer existed. It was not an option. So I was asking around, I was like, does anybody know? Like I asked like the PR people and they didn't know, but I got there and you walk in and they did have, like, by the way, great food vendor, right? Like amazing, like so important. Like, again, that's another thing I think in Europe they don't fuck around with, right?
What kind of food?
Well, it was they had sandwiches and burgers, but like I had a little thing of like couscous and falafel meatball thing, but it was amazing. And it was $12. You know what I mean? But like real food, not convention center crap like we do in America. Well, this is what we have, right? They had a DJ in there and they had temporary tattoos, but I think you could also get a real tattoo. I'm not sure. I was checking it out. He wasn't there one time I went by. I think you get a real HYROX tattoo, like for free, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so then I walk over and so here's the thing. When you walk into the venue, the first people you see have no computer at all. All they've got is a scanner and wristbands. So that's all they do. It's an easy job for a volunteer. Point, it goes boop, and then they give you the wristband and off you go. Now, if there's a problem, you go upstairs to info desk, which I had to do the first day, of course, because I had a problem. But that's what it was. And it got you this. I don't know why they want this level of control. I don't know if it's a legal thing, but it was like you get in the building, then there was one to get into the regular HYROX. There's one to get into the Elite 15. Like, I think in the building should count, but they had them at every checkpoint. Even when Rich and I were leaving, we left late the first night, and we were like, oh, well, there's an exit door. Let's just go out that one, because it was kind of this long walk around to the thing. And we were like, oh, I guess we're not going to get logged out. And sure enough, by the time we got to the end, it did route us right back into the building. And like, so they know when you're coming and going. Like, if there's a crime committed, they're going to know who was there and who wasn't, I guess. And then I did test. I brought my Friday badge with me on Saturday just to test. And sure enough, it gave me an X, and my Saturday one did work. So, but the production level is amazing. And just everything about it was really cool. And if you were sitting in the stands, it could have been fine. But I saw those things and I was like, oh, do I need anything special? They're like, nope. So I talked to people. They didn't sell any tickets. They made it just open. And I think most people didn't know. So there were maybe 30 people, because I kind of half counted every day at the top of each thing. And it probably could have fit double that, and you'd be kind of looking down or whatever. And the MC said it a couple times. He's like, by the way, but even just the way he phrased it, it's like it wasn't clear that's where you could go. So one was supposed to be family and friends, and one was open because they were like, are you a family or a friend? But I think you could have easily gotten into the other one. I'm not trying to get kicked out of fucking HYROX, so I went to the one that I was supposed to go to every time.
So did they not sell tickets for that experience?
The word was they forgot to market it, essentially. So I would imagine the next major, they will, if you don't see it heavily marketed, then they messed up, because apparently that's the move now.
Okay. So there were possibly people who paid for this, and then a bunch of people get in for free.
Not the number that I heard that was sold.
Okay.
Like, I assume they refunded those people. It wasn't like it was a single digit number. Like, they didn't sell it. Like, I was probably going to be one of them. Right. I heard two different versions of the story. One was a small double digit number. One was a single digit number. So I think those were mostly just, like me and Rich and, whoever was hanging up there. So speaking of which, the feedback from the coaches is that it actually wasn't great. The way they had it laid out, they would have been better, like being in the stands, and then they could at least talk to them like every time they went by. It kind of didn't work. Like Rich said, he couldn't even hear Meg barely. Like, she's screaming at him, and it did not really
close enough to the areas.
What's that?
Was it not close enough to where the athletes were?
They have to stay like right in here. And so, yeah, it didn't really work. Like, they'd have to give them more access to make it to like a true, like, I'm cheering you on kind of thing.
Yeah. I thought there was a lane that was like right behind the grid, but it sounds like it wasn't.
The way it was laid out,
park themselves behind their athlete.
Yeah. That wasn't really what was happening.
Oh, that needs to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, they did call it a test, and maybe it'll get better. But another thing I noticed, 15, men, 15 women, there were never more than 6 or 7 coaches. And I know some of them had more than one person, but people would not do it. And I would certainly fucking do it. Like, why wouldn't you? And there was a woman who actually miscounted laps. And I said, did you have a coach? And she was like, no. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I should have brought one. It's like, at minimum, because it's that many laps.
Your sister, anyone,
you could get, you were allowed one. So that to me was
help me keep my head.
But again, I don't know why you wouldn't as an Elite 15 athlete.
Right. Well, I guess that's a learning experience for everyone.
Right.
That won't happen again. The whole thing, I will say, last week I had some Boston FOMO. I did not actually have FOMO for this because I felt like the coverage was spectacular. I felt like I saw everything I needed to see without, having to navigate the travel. I thought that they did a really, really good job with that, but it did feel slightly experimental, right? Like there were some things that they tried with this new layout that I think they need to fix, and they probably will going forward. They're very good at fixing stuff, so I suspect they will.
Well, seeing the big screen there and having it, I feel like those graphics keep getting better and better. And you can see more than you can see on the live result, which stops at the top 10 for some reason. By the way, has anybody talked about that they fixed it? Like, this looks like what they wanted to do. What was it, a year ago? And everybody hated it because it didn't work. But like, the layout looks different now. It looks like when they tried it last time. Come on, how do you guys not know what I'm talking about?
Oh, because I haven't looked at the layout since it's come out.
Well, if it works, nobody cares.
But you can tell, like, it's just like basically when any app does like a refresh, you're like, oh, it's kind of a new UX.
Yeah.
Looks
haven't checked yet.
It just,
well, no, actually, I was watching your race, Dave. I was sitting with my husband. We were watching a relatively bad TV show. So I was just watching your race. It did a pretty good job tracking you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't.
But there is a slightly different look.
So I've got two small misses that I put in my notes. One is that they're like, okay, we're gonna do the awards right after the men's and right after the women's. Like they didn't wait because usually like you do them together so everybody can be there. And I thought for sure they would do it in that kind of where all the vendors are, right?
Mhm.
It's kind of like I said, like a level up from just the regular merch and the stuff that you see at a regular race. And so they have all these people in there, and they just did it in front of the stage. And if you weren't even sitting in the right seats, you couldn't even see it.
Hmm.
And so I said to Christian, why didn't you do it in there? He said, oh, it was a miss. Like from now on, we will. We forgot, basically. So the other thing is, we heard they were doing this cool stuff for Ryland, and it was really cool. But they're like, well, we're going to do it after the races on Friday because we don't want it to be like too emotional. And I thought, well, that's kind of the point, really. Like, it's kind of how you do it.
I
Then,
kind of get that though.
Let me finish. So then they didn't do it Friday, and it's like, okay, are they going to do it Saturday? So Saturday is less people than Friday, and Saturday, after all the awards, less people. Hey, now we're going to do it. And they kind of let us come into the actual, like where the wall balls were essentially. And so we were all kind of gathered there, and they did it. And then they did the 1:05, and it was nice. But the whole time I was thinking this would have been so much more powerful on Friday night with a full room of really quiet people. And yes, it's emotional. And guess what else? That sometimes like makes an athlete like race even harder, or it's what sports has never not done that. If you're going to do a moment of silence, it's at the beginning, not the end. So again, listen, they did an amazing thing. I know they did it. They put his jersey out there in that lane, and everyone was wearing their tattoo. So again, it's a small miss, guys. I feel almost silly now that I've said it, but it was a miss. That's all. It could have been so much more powerful when you ever been in a big fucking room with full, but it's fucking silent. It would have been cool.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I'm
Well,
saying.
they could have done it before everything, right? Like they could have even started the whole night and just got that out of the way and sort of started with something.
Right. And then I get it's a bit of a switch for the MC because then you got to go, okay, everybody, now let's get excited. And but again, it's what you do. Any sporting event, any concert, anything, a moment of silence is used at the beginning. That's all. But again, I'm glad they did it. It was awesome. It was, go ahead.
Why do you think that it shouldn't have been that night?
I mean, to me, I guess again, like I'm not that big show. I don't care about everybody seeing everything. I don't care about that. For me, it's probably was better for the racers to not do it right away for the athletes because they didn't have to go through that set of emotions and try to prep to race and all that. So it's probably better for them. And then at the end, yes, if you have the entire room full and it's silent, it is a great visual spectacle. But the people who were there at the end are probably the people that mattered to the most. And that is, to me, is the important people to hit, right? The people who are closest to them, the other athletes, the coaches. Those are the people that would have been there. So, I mean, I don't think it's a miss. I think it's a difference of opinion, and that's cool. Your take is valid.
Well, actually, you just really kind of like. So I was down here, and I was kind of watching. Like I was watching Chris. I know Chris was up there, and we had talked some about we had talked some about Ryan when I saw her on Friday before the races. So I was just kind of keep my eye on her and trying to just take it all in. And then when it did end, the first person I saw was Camilla, who was like in like tears. I shared a nice hug with her and Luca, and that kind of was the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, so actually, Dave, you're right.
It happens a lot.
Let me just put it to you this way. No one's right or wrong in this scenario, but I 100% that there was no wrong way to do it. How about that?
No. And even on the live stream, and I don't know if you've watched it, they did something on the live stream as well before the race.
Somebody said that. Somebody said they did. They probably showed the same video that they showed us, which was a pretty quick.
So I think regardless of timing or whatever you feel, however you out there might think, it was a classy move to do to honor him that way. So I hate to associate the word miss with any of it for them because it was a super classy move for them to do.
All right. Do we want to talk?
It's hard to go on from something like that. That's why you don't do it at the beginning.
Dave, what are your thoughts on Chalkagate?
All right. I figured this would come up a lot because it already has. I got lots of messages.
This is what happens
by the way,
when you're you, Dave. You're the guy.
Anyone who messages me to ask me about anything like this, go ahead. It's cool. I don't mind. Because every time I get a message like, oh, I hate to ask you about this. No, you don't have to hate to ask me. Just ask me. It's cool. So I look at it this way. It is a very dumb rule. I don't like the rule. I don't think it needs to be there. I don't think it benefits anyone aside from maybe the cleanup team. However, it is there. It's in their rule book. It's black and white. There's a written penalty for it. It was very clear cut what she did, and it should be enforced. Some people said, well, I don't like that that would have took too long. I don't either. I think that would be horrible too. Yet in their rule book, they have 48 hours in which to do these things. So they have made their own bed with this shit.
And have shown that they did do that with Sean.
And have shown that they will do it. So by not doing it, if I'm Sean Noble, I'm like, what the fuck? And let's just put this out there. If that was Sean Noble that did that, is there any doubt he would have been penalized? And this is nothing against Joanna. I think the world of her, and she deserved to win that race, and she's absolutely amazing. But yeah, that should have been called. That was a miss. And I think that was a miss because they did not want to affect their podium.
I do not like being conspiracy Matt, but that point has been brought up, right? What if it wasn't her? And we don't want to think that. We don't want to think they're playing favorites. I don't want to think they're playing favorites. And the ruling that we kind of heard, which was, I had asked Matt for a quote. Matt said no comment, or I can't comment on this. And then I asked Joanna's manager, and she came back with, I spoke with Matt, and this is what he said or what we said. So that part's a little unclear. And I'd already been going back and forth a lot. And so I just let it lie as it was. And I printed what they said. And what they said essentially was, just because we saw it and the announcer said it doesn't mean we have to call it. Like it was just a weird thing. Again, it's what some have called Spartan shit. And that's the stuff we hated or hate about Spartan, is we want it to be consistent. And that's the part that feels a little wonky and that no one can quite understand, because it's actually twice. Someone sent me the second clip, which is in fact more obvious at, was it at Farmers? The first one was before the pool. The second one was at Farmers. And so it's like, you've got at least one and maybe two. So that's either 2 minutes or 4 minutes. And here's the only part that I can guess. It's another word for guess.
Surmise.
Thank you, voice from the darkness. Surmise. They could say that chalk is from the course and it's in her pocket, and so it's fine. But if that's the case, why not just say that? Do you hear what I'm saying? Like,
because it would be a lie.
What if it isn't? What if she took it from the bucket while she was there, put it in her pocket so later she could have it? Which again, if you're going to be a lawyer, that's what you could say. Did you see her get it from the bucket? Did you see her bring it from home? Do you see what I'm saying? That's the only possibility. But if that's the case, just say that. That's my thing.
I would argue that she had chalk in the zones where chalk is prohibited then, so therefore her penalty still applies.
Say that again.
Did she have the chalk the whole time?
Yes.
We don't know that. We only know she pulls it out and puts it back in before the pull, and then pulls it out at the Farmers. Or somebody said it was at the ski, actually.
Before the Farmers.
Before the Farmers, it was like chalk went everywhere.
Yeah.
Apparently. I saw it quickly. So tell me why that wouldn't be okay if that was chalk from the venue.
Well, because she carried it through zones where she's not allowed to have chalk.
So carried it through? Carried it through.
Yeah,
that's the rule?
She had chalk in zones you were not allowed to have chalk.
Even if she doesn't use it.
So Dave, right
The rule
now,
says you can't have it.
in the past, what I have done, I get to sled pull, I grab a chunk of chalk and I stick it in my shorts. That's always what I've done.
The
And
problem
that
is
is now
she did it
illegal.
before she got to sled pull.
Okay. So she's just had this stuff. So she had to
Mhm.
get it somewhere. She had to have taken it, right? It had to have been hers. Okay.
And in my experience too, the chalk that she had was like a block of some sort, because when you see it, when she goes into farmers, it kind of crumbles. Doesn't not a big
Okay.
cloud of dust, like a crumble. Now,
Okay.
my experience, the chalk that they have there, oftentimes, at least the ones I've been to, is much more of a powdery, and they have it in like a rosin bag, and it kind of goes everywhere.
Mhm.
It's not the same.
Okay, I'm going to read
Mhm.
this rule. I'm going to read this rule in the rule
Yep.
book because it's people were messaging me what is going on with the chalk, and I didn't see it. Right, I from my vantage point, like go to the live feed, and then I made sure I got a 25-26 rule book. Only event provided chalk, so that's part one, may be used, and only at the workout station where it is provided. That's what you're saying.
Yep.
Chalk is not to be taken to any other workout stations. All right, I've read this 10 times and never read it that clearly.
Mhm.
Or chalk is not to be taken to any other workout stations or used at different workout stations. Doing so will incur a 2-minute penalty or per infringement. Okay, so now they have no argument. I read that, but kept not reading. You know what I'm saying? My brain didn't actually read. You can't grab that chalk and bring it, is not to be taken.
So you can say it again now.
Is not to be taken.
No, Cheryl knows what I'm saying. Dave, you're right.
Oh. What the fuck,
Okay,
guys?
so-
Now I'm more angry. Now I'm even more angry. Guys, what else are we to think but massive conspiracy of either because Joanna, because they like Australia? Is it because she's a Puma athlete? Is it because they don't want to change the podium? Is it because it means they have to, you mean like it's all we're all, and I hate even having this conversation, which by the way, I will say, I need to say out loud, not fun for me to do, right? I really sweat it that night. I was like, ugh, you hate to take away someone's moment. I usually talk to my wife, get a clear head. Honey, what do you think? But I was talking with Rich. We were eating, and he's like, just sleep on it, see how you feel. But then I woke up, and it was like, how can I not mention this? It's a clear rule violation. I'm not mad at Joanna, but I certainly want to see a base level of accountability and consistency with my rules from a company. So this is on HYROX.
If I'm an Elite 15 athlete, I'm now wondering, am I a favorite?
What's going to happen if I do something?
Yeah.
Am I going to get disqualified, just outright disqualified for making a mistake?
But not just that. Now it's like, so, and I'll go back to Race Brain. I listened to Race Brain this week. The guys did a great show.
Yeah.
And girl and Michelle. And they brought up about how Rich has come across being under great scrutiny on his burpees. By not calling things like this, they give arguments like that more validity.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that everybody starts making assumptions, right? Because there's a vacuum that we fill with our own conspiracies.
Yep. And they've played into this now. When this would have been a very, like, okay, and example, if I'm in this situation and I get to make calls like this, I'm making that call for a couple of reasons. One, or at least I'm initially going through it. I'm gonna penalize her and allow her to appeal it if she needs to, and then we'll have the discussion and see what happens. But at least I show, by making that call on a very obvious thing, I show that I have the integrity and that I care about the sport. I don't care who wins. I care about the sport winning and about the sport looking good. They did that with the Hunter thing, but
especially if they want to be in the Olympics.
I don't even talk about the Olympics. It's stupid. That's never happened. That's just...
No, but you know what I mean? Like if they're trying to standardize everything, you standardize the rules too.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay. While the footage shows Joe handling something with her hands and having an item tucked into her shorts, there is no conclusive evidence to support the allegations athletes and commentators are making. Commentary or speculation during the broadcast is not considered evidence. Now, I wrote, it's possible, based on the responses received from HYROX and Matrix team, that no formal protest was ever filed because they didn't use the word protest in that statement. And I've been talking to a lot of athletes, and this is all off the record. I can tell you, I heard conflicting. Yes, I know so and so 100% did, or I heard someone so and so did, but we don't know for a fact. No athlete has said to me, "Yes, Matt, I filed said protest, and this is what happened." So we don't even know if a protest was. You see what I'm saying? Then it becomes a moot point, because if no one protested, we don't change something. That's
no. That's not true at all. You don't have to protest something. Like, you're talking
isn't
about.
Isn't that why Sean's thing? Because there was a or not Sean's thing. Who was there a protest for? I can't remember recently.
I don't need a protest to penalize you for a banned object.
What is more egregious? What is more egregious, Joanna or Hunter?
Sorry, you broke up. I couldn't hear you. What was more egregious? What?
Hunter or Joanna? What's a more egregious penalty to you? Foul.
Physical violence, or wiping something on your hands.
Yeah. Hunter's by a long shot.
Okay,
but I'm saying there didn't need to be a protest for that either.
Well, but I guess this is where I'm kind of trying to go. Is like apparently that's the way they're doing it, though. They're saying we would have not done anything, but it was protested. That seems to be what they're saying, which brings us back to a bigger point, right? Which is, if I'm Lauren Weeks, do I want to be the one that accuses the person in front of me of doing something? A, it's my friend I'm racing with the next day. No one likes a sore sport, whether you're 15th or 3rd, the person who could have got a spot, et cetera, et cetera. Why is that the basis of what's happening here? Why is it on the athletes? That seems like a bigger question.
I don't know for a fact that it is. If it is, that's absolutely candy ass stupid.
But that's 100% what happened with the Hunter thing. A protest was filed, not because they saw it on the screen, even though we all saw it on the screen.
If that's their take, that's a terrible, terrible take. That's completely spineless. If that's the backing that they're doing, because you don't. Yeah, I mean, so we need the athletes to complain in order to penalize someone for breaking a rule. That makes no sense whatsoever.
But you're saying this as if you're saying it like you've never heard it before.
Because I had heard conflicting reports. I had heard that there was not a protest made for the Hunter thing.
Again, not an official protest. But here we are, because again, who wants to be the rat? Who wants to rat on the rat? Like it's all, again, like, and I'm friends with a lot of these people, so I'm not going to say who said what, but it's like,
I've heard people say there was, but I've heard people say there wasn't. My problem
for Hunter or for this?
For Hunter.
Okay, well, and same thing here. I've heard there wasn't, there wasn't. But again, should a protest be allowed? Yes. Should they only change standing? No. And I think that's the part that's missing, or that maybe they've made unclear. And that's going to be my next email to Matt, now that I think about it, because Matt and I are good. Matt and I went back and forth a lot. We talked off the record after the race. Like, he and I are good, and I feel like we have a great relationship. So I will ask him that exact question. It's like, are you saying you'll never change it unless there's a protest? Because that's kind of what we're feeling now.
And yeah, I would love to see, like, they've grown to the size now that I would love to see, in cases of this, where there is a protest of some sort, or there's not a protest of some sort, but there is something along this lines, call it a controversy or not, that they make a proper public statement. That they go into detail. This is what we did. This is what we didn't do. This is why. And if it isn't a case where we did not follow our rule book, you have to explain why. Because it can't be.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just saying this right now. I hate to toot my own horn, Dave, but this is why the media exists. Because in lieu of coming forward, this is why journalism can be a great thing. Because it's like, they're the people saying, hey, tell us what's what. And, again, I really struggled with this, because it's not fun to tell someone they broke a rule, or that they didn't finish, or they didn't play fair, or whatever. And I did not want to, I could be Hiller and just put up a fucking video of her and say, look at this. I was like, okay, I'm going to talk to Joanna. I'm going to talk to the HYROX. And I waited and got the best answer that I could get. and it still isn't a complete answer. But
I have a question for you about. You said you talked to Joanna, and you may not be able to say this. What did Joanna say?
Okay, so Joanna did not speak to me. So I reached out to her team, and that's what I was told.
And sorry, it was they told you that because I mean we talked a lot of stuff. So
no, I can say for a fact I contacted her management because I didn't think she was going to want to talk to me. And I was going to talk to her just after the victory on Sunday, and it wasn't going to bring it up at all. I was just going to say congratulations, and she clearly didn't want to talk to me. And I expected that, and that's okay, right? It's totally okay. And to be fair, I'll just say it as it is so people don't get it twisted. The way they did this race was the race ended, everyone's around, and the drug people are around them, and usually they whisk them pretty quickly, and they were not in a hurry at all. So I talked to pretty much everybody else, where I'd see Alex. I'm like, hey, can I talk? And he'd look at the drug person. The drug person's like, cool, as long as you don't leave my sight.
Yep.
And then I talk to them, and then they'd go on. And if someone does want to talk to me, they're like, can't talk, got to go to the drug test. So, and that's what happened with Joanna. And again, I did not expect her to be in a hurry to talk to me, and I'm not taking it personally. She's not thrilled with me, I guess. But no, her team gave me that statement, and I would love to talk to Joanna. I interviewed her in Chicago, not Chicago. Where did I talk to her last year? Was it Chicago? We've talked a few times. So I doubt I don't think she's going to make a public statement. I think she forgot the rule. I don't think she's like, let me see what I can get away with. If that was the case, she wouldn't have done it like this. I think she forgot the rule.
So obvious,
no, she obviously did not realize. No. But I mean, I'm just me. And if I was in her position, I would make a statement because I would either own it or I would explain what I did.
Well, here's where I'm gonna do some speculation. Maybe she wants to. Maybe her team and or sponsors are like, don't say a fucking word.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Well, at least for 48 hours.
I think you're probably right.
Now that the 48 hours is over, she could probably say something. I want to hear something from her. And I'm fine with whatever she wants to say, because I don't think she was trying to be malicious. I think she was just racing, right?
Yep.
And I would love it.
But at this point, it's lose-lose for her, because if HYROX carried water for her and she says, I didn't know it was a rule, then everybody's going to be like, she just admitted it. Why isn't HYROX doing anything? So she can't win in the situation. And, she's a relatively young woman. This can't be fun for her either. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of pressure, right?
Yep.
So I don't know how to bring this up, and Dave's gonna solve all my problems for me here.
He always does.
But my observation about a lot of the penalties this time, or lack thereof, is it seems like this new format, this new grid system that they have for the majors, the rules don't necessarily apply to this new format. In as much as I think the reason why the chalk rule is in there is not for Elite 15 athletes. I don't think it has anything to do with Elite 15 athletes. It has to do with the fact that 11,000 people come through that venue, and it would be a mess to let that chalk just fly everywhere, right? They're just trying to keep things working. And so I totally understand. And the fact that they don't then have a separate rule book for a major where they're on a grid that would also, for instance, include if you skip a lap, it's not 3 minutes that you get a penalty for, because a 200-meter lap, it's a ridiculous penalty, right?
I mean, wow.
So do they need to just have, here's the Elite 15 majors rule book, and take out all the nonsense that doesn't make any sense for an 11,000 person event? Right?
I think they're smart enough to know that has to happen. Put that down as question number 2 for Matt. Punishment doesn't fit the crime, doesn't make any sense, et cetera, et cetera. Making rules for the 15,000 versus making rules for the. I get as a sport, for the most part, you want to keep things the same, but something like that. And it's funny because when you talk about carrying, when you take chalk to different stations, and the grid is like all of the stations are right there, so it's kind of, that's even neat.
Buckets, literally, they have more buckets than judges on some of those stations.
So that was what definitely was point, and that was the other thing that I couldn't get a clear answer on. I heard this was 100% said in the doubles briefing. I said, was it done in the singles briefing? And I talked to a couple folks, and they said either I don't know or I don't remember. And an added caveat of, it seems like they're trying to get us out of there quicker because we used to be in there forever. And so they don't go over everything anymore. They went over a couple of key things about whatever they went over, right? But yes, there were buckets on both ends, which there normally isn't. Buckets on one end. So yeah, enough about the Joanna piece. Let's talk about all the other penalties. And go ahead.
Well, to go through what Cheryl said, does there need to be a separate rule book? I'm going to answer it two ways. The way they're going at it, yes, there absolutely does. However, if they were just smart and just applied every single rule from the regular people to the Elite 15 in the same fashion, you wouldn't need it. So no, I don't think they need to do it. I think they just need to apply the same rules, right? So
But a skipped lap needs to be a 3-minute penalty.
No,
for
on a 4-lap course.
So I totally agree. That 5 and 6 at some points.
Yeah.
So I agree. What I personally think is that what should happen is that you your laps are supposed to be 8 kilometers. You divvy that up. A skip lap, whatever a skip lap would be, you multiply that. So there should be a multiplier.
I don't know why they couldn't have done that. Why they couldn't have done that on the fly, because they had enough time, right?
Yeah, there could, but you could easily put, like, say, for example, a missed lap is worth
a certain percentage,
double the time, or like double your lap average, whatever. It's not whatever. There's a million different ways you can do it. That would be more conducive to 3 minutes for a 2-lap course to 3 minutes for like. There's a lot better ways. So no, I don't like
even
that rule.
Even Spartan figured out at the stadium race it's 15 burpees and not 30.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but when it comes to the rule book thing, they just need to apply the same standard, same set of rules, so that everybody's the same. What I don't like is that they have pre-race briefings, so we all know if you miss a lane in your sled pull, what's the penalty for that in your regular race? I believe it's 3 minutes.
Okay.
Not in the Elite 15.
In the Elite 15, it's a DQ.
You're just out.
Unbelievable.
So that's what I mean. So you have that, and then you go through all of it. The other reason that you can't have a separate rule book for the grid Elite 15 is because those times still apply to your overall double times for the year. So you can't have those people doing a race. I should say can't have them under a set of different rules. You should have those people doing a race under a different set of rules than all the other people who are trying to qualify for the same races.
Yeah, I gotta say, 3 minutes. I gotta say the DQ is even dumber than 3 minutes. And they make the announcement. Faisal says they've been disqualified. I'm like, what? We see them over at the rower, and like Matt and whoever comes over, and they're like arguing with them. And what I heard later was they were just saying, let us fucking finish. Come on. Disqualified from a race?
Just get out of here.
Again, I ask you, what is more?
It's not like they dropped a sandbag twice.
What's more egregious? Dropping a sandbag, having chalk, missing a pull or push, which, by the way, the judges did fucking tell them to go, which again, you're supposed to count your own. I know that. And you still, it's still what a massive fuck up. But here's my question. This leads me right into this question that came up when me and Charlie Botterill were talking on Sunday, whatever yesterday was.
That's Sunday. He's so great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If the number of out and backs is the athlete responsibility, right? Like how many times you go down and back, are the judges supposed to say anything? Because they clearly do. In a regular race in the Elite 15, they go. Mm-hmm. Should they not say go? Should they just stand there? And he said, well, what if you nod your head when you've stepped over the line appropriately, right? I mean, when you get to 1,000 meters, they say go, right? Mm-hmm. So where do we draw that line?
To say that you shouldn't go when the judge says go because you are supposed to count for yourself is an absolute cop-out. And quite frankly, those girls should never have been disqualified. And if they were penalized, let's go back. What did they do when Kent and Hunter missed a lap in the Worlds?
I thought about
was that in Vegas?
Yeah, they gave them both the same penalty, which was a minute, I think.
They gave them a penalty appropriate to the amount of time it was taking them to do the lanes because it was their error.
And they figured it out during the race, by the way. That happened in real time.
Error, i.e. HYROX's error. What did they do when HYROX made the course too short in the grid?
They added time.
HYROX error. They adjusted everybody's time in an appropriate fashion. But now, judge error, sending you on your way is a DQ.
Dave, you make some really good points.
It was
say it again.
Very... It was the hardest part of the weekend was watching these people be so frustrated with just getting this information dropped on them out of nowhere. They're just working their tails off.
To escort someone out like you're being fucking arrested? Are you kidding me? In front of a stadium full of fucking people?
Yeah. I would tell all athletes this line.
They should have pulled the fucking, what's his name? Who's the crazy receiver? They should have fucking taken off their shirts and flipped everybody out. They should have just went nuts.
I literally, if I was, and I'm sorry, what was the girl's name who was on the rower when they got the cube? It wasn't Melanie. It was
her
Jennifer Nicholas and Melanie.
I would have kept rowing and said, I would have kept rowing and said, fine, I hear your DQ. I am racing under protest. I'm officially launching my protest right now. And then just continued racing.
All right. So think about this.
And then if they pull her off, they physically pull her off. They physically pull her off. But that's
right. Let them get drugged off that course.
Exactly.
Out of it.
Yeah. Make them make the scene.
And so I want to say, sadly, this is something you have to think about because that's a race brain thing that they probably never even occurred to them. But and it might not occur to you, Dave, maybe in the moment, but it just did, and it's actually right. Like that's fine, and just keep fucking racing. Like I said, are they gonna stop you? Are they gonna pull out the handcuffs?
So if I'll just say straight up, if this happens to me, and I imagine it will, because I've often given people this piece of advice. If it happens to me, I will accept that and allow you to continue to race because you didn't do anything unsportsmanlike. You didn't hurt anybody. You didn't endanger anybody. You didn't verbally abuse an official. You made a mistake. The judge made a mistake, and you followed the orders. And in that scenario, I'm going to let you finish race. And officially in my mind, okay, our rules have said you're DQ'd. You finish the race, you launch, we go right into your protest.
You file the protest, yeah.
So,
they have to pay attention.
But I want to know, what should the rule be? Listen to your judge?
I think what they did with Kent and Hunter was the appropriate move.
But I'm saying we need to write a rule, not what they did with Kent and Hunter, but like here's a rule. When you're doing sled push and pull, you will do 4 out and backs or whatever it is. And when your judge says, hey, have I done 4 or 5? You've done 4. Like I ask every time, right? Okay, you can go now. Should that be the rule or should they, you see what I'm saying? Like
So there's 2 schools of thought on that. One, if you go with your judge comes and says, I sent them early, right? Then you would have to go through and what I basically would probably do is tally up their time of what they've done for their sled pushes, divide it by 3, add another one on. That's your penalty because the judge made a mistake, right?
If you leave too early on your own,
then you should get penalized what everybody else gets penalized throughout the world, which is 3 minutes.
I didn't even think about that. I forgot that wasn't even the rule. That again does seem bizarre.
They do that a lot. They change the rules for the Elite 15 for, I'm sure they have their reasons, whatever the case may be.
But is it in the rule book that way?
What?
I thought there was only one. It's only one set of rules.
Yeah, there's only one set of rules for it. But they'll do so when you do a race, right? Your race, your start line briefing, or a pre-race briefing, basically trumps your rule book, right? So in that scenario, right, they're doing a pre-race briefing, and they probably said it because I've heard them say it before about missing a lap. I've heard missing a lap was a DQ before. in an Elite 15 race. So they probably say that beforehand. So for this race, missing a lap, that is a DQ. I think they did that in Nice. And
yeah, they need to. By the way, I don't think Elite 15 race time should count as one of your two.
No, neither do I.
It's a different, and Rich and I argued about this, and he said, why? I said, because it's different. He said, so is every other course. I'm like, yeah, but this is literally different. And
it's not populated with people.
Right. It's not populated with people. Only 15 people get to do them. Mm-hmm. There's less people on the course. Only 50 people even get to do that race that way. So yeah, I think that should be changed. And I have had far too much water. I will be right back.
I also feel like when you're racing the best in the world, you're going to have your best race, right? Like, I mean, it's a different race.
Yeah, it is. And I know some people have gone through and whipped up all the stats and been, no, it doesn't matter. And this is close enough. And this is close. And it's actually slower. I don't care. It's different. It's not an event full of thousands of people. And the way I would tell people like that, and I mean, if Rich and I ever had this discussion, I would tell them, if you want to run a fast time, are you going to do the empty Elite 15 course, or are you going to go to the Birmingham and do it when everybody's out there? Because nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to take the option of doing a full course. Or are you going to do it racing fast people, or are you going to do it where you're time trialing on your own? They're not. It's just logical. It's too different. It shouldn't count. It's whether it's a disadvantage or an advantage, doesn't matter. Either way, it shouldn't count.
Right.
So that was pretty quick.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, pretty impressed. See, now we would let you go to the front of the line if there were a bunch of girls in your bathroom.
That's right.
So we saw the little red flags popping up during the doubles races. There was a bunch of them. So do we think that there was an appropriate amount of penalties called, or was there too many penalties called? Because there was a lot.
You want me to go first so that you can have the last word on this? Look, I spent Friday and Saturday. I was locked into these races. I really, really had a great time just kind of having the weekend.
That's why you didn't have any FOMO.
Exactly. And I was frustrated as an observer that I didn't quite know what was going on with a lot of these. Like, Till would just be like, well, there's a provisional penalty on mentally, and then, oh no, that's not there. Like, we didn't really know why people were getting these penalties. We were just sort of hearing through the grapevine why they were, and it felt very nebulous. And it felt like, I just felt like saying, just let them race. Like, just let them go. Unless there's something giant going on, I don't actually want to hear about it. I've never really liked the idea of them being so strict on the penalties with the sled pull. I don't know how much of an advantage a half an inch is going to get you. Like, I understand if you're stepping out of the line, that's one thing, but let them step on the line. I don't care. And the BBJs, they can't even do them anymore. I mean, poor Rich, he had like 2 or 3 people on him at one point, and he's just trying to get it done. Let him fly. I don't know what the mechanical advantage is of everybody being required to launch with both feet. I totally understand that. And then hit your chest to the ground. Like, aside from that, I don't know what advantage we're getting from keeping their hands next to their feet or whatever. Let them fly. If you're tall, that's giving you an advantage, where in other parts of the race, you're not going to have the advantage. So I just felt like
we don't want flat out Superman, right? And what I saw was, I was watching Rich, and Rich actually said he looked over at, because that's the head judge, he wanted to make sure he was okay. Because for a minute I was like, why are they up at Rich's ass? Mm-hmm. But Rich, I'm exaggerating slightly, puts his hands almost like behind his feet because he so wants to get on the line.
So careful, right?
So considerably slower than what most Elite 15 athletes do, which is essentially throw their legs out and their hands go down. and their hands are going a little bit out. Some people, to me, it's obvious. Some people, it maybe. So I was watching Hitty, who was right next to him. And I'm not saying Hitty was breaking the rule, but he certainly had way more freedom of movement and was probably right on the line-ish, right?
More fluid. He looked like he was actually able to move.
It's a massive difference. Massive difference. So Rich, I said, I think you got to just go until you get a warning at least. Like, you got to risk at least one warning. It's kind of like a fault in tennis. Like, don't start out that way. Like, start kind of letting it fly. Because again, I think what a lot of people do, which I think makes the most sense, is they kind of touch the top of their toes, which kind of tricks you into thinking that's where your hand's going when you're done. That's what I would do. And I don't do them that fast. But if I was going like those guys do, they kind of touch their toes and fly out. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's why Rich came in fifth, but I'm telling you, if you were to break it down, Dave, like if you counted the seconds, I feel like it was a lot of time.
It just feels like they're getting nickeled and dimed to death. And that doesn't make for good spectating. And
I like the stick idea. Can we bring out the stick idea that Amy Bevilacqua said? That seems to be an easy solution to this problem.
I solved this one years ago.
With lines?
Every 30 centimeters, there's a line. 2 feet are in that line, or in one box. Your hands go in the next box. It's done.
Why can't they just do that?
Shockingly, no matter how often I'm right, people don't always listen.
Well, again, you don't need to do it for the main races, just the grid.
Yeah.
Throw some tape down.
Yeah. But you could throw the same tape down for the main races.
It wouldn't even hurt there. I mean, there's lines in the main races. You just do more of them. It's so simple. You get your feet in one box, your hands in the next.
Have you sent this, Dave? Have you sent this under protest?
I sent this actually to Mintra 3 years ago.
All right. Maybe it's time for a refresh.
It was actually when I sent that they started putting, they didn't do it right away, but from that, whether they were thinking of it as well, or it was my idea or whatever, whoever, I don't care. They started putting the lines every meter. But my idea was to have them every, at the time was 12 inches, they were saying.
So now it's 30 centimeters.
Yeah. Right. So, which is basically the same thing. So you have them every one. So when you jump, your 2 feet land in one box, you go back down, your hands go in the other one. If they're slightly off parallel, who cares? They're in the same box. Great.
Yeah. It's the more I sit here and think about it, it's got to be the judge. It has to be the judge tells you what you do. Because again, this goes back to the wall ball thing, right? Like you leave because the person said go, and you're like, well, you didn't do it. You didn't count 100. It's like, right. But a person said it and a screen said it. So what do you want me to do? It has to be. This is how CrossFit works. And this is how CrossFit works, right? Which is a pretty good basis of like exercising competition. Like that's what they do. They count down 5, 4, 3, 2. You know what I mean? So it has to be that. I don't know why they're being so weird about this one. What are they holding on to?
I don't know.
You got those judges just like down on the ground, just watching. I don't know. I just feel like everybody's being micromanaged. It didn't make for good. And then the penalty boxes at the end, for some reason, didn't work for singles at all. Like watching Lena Putter stand there, just frustrated and exhausted, waiting for her counter to tick down. For whatever reason, the doubles seemed to handle it better. And that women's finish was kind of exciting.
I didn't like it.
I don't know.
I'll be honest. I didn't like any of it. I didn't like the idea before, and this just
seems so punitive, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, again, I think this is a super simple solution because Rich was saying, "Well, just do it at that station." But I'm like, yeah, right. But if the penalty is from leaving a station too early, that doesn't help. And we talked about with Deco, you don't want people being chased down, or even with wall balls, you don't want to chase down. So to me, the simple solution is you enter the wall balls, and that's where you serve your penalty. And before you say, Matt, but then you get to rest. I would say to you, if resting were an advantage, people would rest during the race. You know why they don't rest during the race? Because it's not an advantage. You are standing there for 15 to 30 seconds, or in Lena's case, 3 minutes. Then we get a real finish. You throw your wall balls, you finish. Here's the thing. I think they think it was really exciting the way that women's race ended. I'm telling you, okay, here's what you have, okay? Let's get visual aids now. Can't hold my microphone. Here's here's Zara and Gabby, and here's the Van Lindenloofs, right? Now, if the Van Lindenloofs had finished 2 seconds before, are they supposed to run through Zara and Gabby? Are they supposed to run around, which would now take longer? Are they supposed to go the other way through the what do you call it?
The rig.
So you had 3 teams finishing at the same time, which they think is exciting, and maybe Yancey would think for NASCAR, that's not this sport. That is not good at all.
Well, especially when you had so many judges like physically blocking their way, watching the clock for them.
Well, they
like,
had to, or they would have taken off. They had
it just looks punitive. It just looks really, really punitive, right?
They were
just
ready
to have single people standing there. That was rough. That was really rough to watch.
Yeah, I did not like that at all. Again, remember the DECA World Championship, and you have guys running over each other, and that's what's going to happen, especially if it's a fucking men's race. Not that women couldn't, but are you kidding me? They would plow fucking through them. So that's not the sport. I can't say that's not sport because it's some sports, hockey.
It was just a bad watch. It was painful to watch for me. I didn't enjoy it. Here's the big thing that got me, and this is what really drove it home for me. At the end of that race, I wasn't talking about the race to the finish. I wasn't talking about the competition. I was talking about a woman sitting there waiting out for penalties to go by. I was watching, and then in the team race, we're like, well, we're doing math on the go. They need to be this far. They need to be this far. No, this is not exciting to watch. This is just, it's just shit. And if they had just, honestly, most of the penalties were where? Burpees? Probably 90%, other than the 3-minute lap, of course.
Right.
But they could just make that a DQ anyway, so that'd be fine. But most of them come on the burpees. Again, fixed, lines every 30 centimeters. You did a bad burpee. Go back 4 boxes. Okay, cool. Off you go.
Go back 4 boxes?
Yeah, step 4 boxes back, continue your burpees. Go.
Why are you stepping 4 boxes back?
Because then you don't need the stupid time penalties.
Which is what they used to have, right? It was a distance.
The sled used to be push it again, which
the sled was dumb. That was overkill.
So you don't like the penalty box entering the wall balls? You don't like that one?
I would prefer to not have it at all. I like that better than what they've done.
Right.
But I would prefer to not have that at all. I would prefer it to be rep based. The only time you have to be time based is on a scenario where someone's ran away or missed a lap.
Can we do?
And even if you missed a lap, I would be cool with saying, because if you catch it mid race, great. Okay, go do 2. The one you missed and the one you make up.
Yeah. Well, and I still remember being in Manchester when Alondra Greenlee had that kind of ridiculous call.
Yeah, it cost her the whole race.
It did. But as a spectator, we knew what was happening and we could complain about it at the time. Instead of this, there's a provisional 15-second penalty, which nobody knows what's going on. And we're asking each other, does anybody know what happened? It's not really helping us understand the race or enjoy the race to have it be the way it's being.
Yeah. There was no good come of it.
I feel like we should have started with all this because it really was a great weekend from someone that was there. And, again, you being around the people that you know and like and love and making new friends and all that stuff. And, I gave, the biggest, sweaty hug to some people and told them how proud I was of them. And, all that, like, that's why we're here. I think it's why I'm here. Big part why I'm here. I wish we had led with the rule stuff because I do feel bummed out ending this way.
Well, we don't have to.
I mean, the athletes were great. The racing was amazing. The coverage was fantastic. The coverage has surpassed CrossFit Games coverage now.
Wow.
I firmly
Ugly Dave drops a bomb. Tell me why.
I just think again the data you're getting the different camera angles you're getting I think are better. I can follow the athletes better than I can in the games. Like if I'm watching CrossFit Games, I usually can follow the 3 athletes in the middle and that's it.
Right.
With HYROX, you're getting a lot more picture in picture, things like that. I think as a whole, they're doing a better job with the coverage.
And HYROX is just the most beautiful race. They've just figured it all out. The little outfits they put on the athletes and now the tattoos that are on them. And it is so slick looking. It is a gorgeous race. Just the way everything's set up. What's your complaint?
Women's doubles, one of the most glorious things about it is they all have their awesome outfits.
Yeah.
Men's too, but not so much. Women's are killing it. Like I just went through an entire weekend of women's open. There must have been 10,000 women's teams, and every one of them had their own outfits. They all look spectacular.
Lululemon and Gymshark for as far as the eye can see.
Elite 15 doubles, everybody's wearing the same HYROX outfit. And I'm like, I want those cool team outfits.
I would agree with that. If they can give us all t-shirts for Worlds, like let the girls pick the color scheme they want to race in.
I think they give them, I think at Worlds they give them two options, right? It's either in I feel like in Chicago it was like that uglyish maroon or black.
Yes, and that was that way this time too, but it does seem they could give a couple more options, right? Have them consult the University of Oregon football team uniform folks, right?
Yeah, the dudes don't care. The dudes are going to be shirtless anyway, but
yeah, but the women let them. Yeah, I like that idea, Dave.
Hey, I mean, when we watched the international team relays, right, and Team America had the shorts on, and like, even if it's just let them have their own shorts, let them do it, right? And because I understand maybe you need some names for on the shirts or the tattoos, great. Let them play with the shorts. Let them fly. Let them do whatever they want. Big flames on them, donuts, whatever. I missed that.
Speaking of outfits, can we congratulate unofficially but sort of officially that Dylan is now a Nike athlete?
Good heavens, what a big deal, right? That is such a big deal. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That was so exciting.
And then having such a great race too.
Yeah.
You know, two great races actually.
I mean, he might have been one of the very sweaty hugs I got. And again, just so awesome. I don't know if you watched all those intros, but he came out and gave us one of these, like, let's eat. I was like, let's go. I was ready to fucking throw 100 wall balls. And then afterwards, you know, he's like, you know, he's always great. And he's like, yeah, I did the best race I could. Looks like I'm going to have to get 30 seconds faster because I can't outcycle Ronco in the fucking wall balls. And it's like, right. So just right. Or get a lot faster at sucking the wall balls. Cause he got there. I don't know. Was it 15 seconds ahead? Maybe 20?
Wasn't much.
Right.
Yeah.
And he still went unbroken. Right. And still didn't get there.
He didn't
have
a chance. Yeah.
Right. But yeah. So anyway, big love to Dylan. Yeah. Dude, to me, Ronco to me is
pretty long legs in his own right too.
Every time I see Ronco, I'm like, that's a specimen. I mean, that dude.
Well, in the words of his friend that she will remain nameless. She says, the man is a stallion.
I mean, he really is.
He is
absolutely
spectacular.
The Europeans, you know what I'm saying? Like, fashion, they're a level up. He's got the beard is perfectly coiffed.
And he was a school teacher. I mean, what do you do with a man like that?
Adorable. He's talk about an accent that makes you swoon. I mean, you say you don't like accents. He's Austrian, but his accent makes me swoon a little bit. Like I have a great quote. I have a great quote of him that I put on Instagram last year after the World Championships. And he said, like, you know, I lost, which means it's hunting season again. Last year I was the hunted. Now I will be hunting. Let's go hunting. See you next year. You know, it's like, let's go.
He's our Arnold.
Oh no, it's hard not to be a wrong fan.
Speaking of the fashion, I will say that I have seen people walking the streets that I'm like, oh, like I've only seen that on a runway. Like, you know what I mean? Like they wear stuff that they're either way ahead of the curve or behind it, but it's like, whoa, that's wow. You know, just belts and sashes in weird places. Just, you know, in Europe, they just do stuff different over here.
We Americans are a little sloppy.
Yeah, it's made me want to up my game a little bit. By the way, this is the HYROX.
That's the shirt from Hamburg.
This is a shirt from Hamburg.
Okay.
This is the oversized gym shirt. super comfy. But then I also got, hang on.
Dave, is that your shirt from Toronto?
Yeah, but it's from last year. I'm too cheap to buy a new one.
I love how relaxed you are. That's just, that's goals.
None of those things matter to me at all.
Well, listen. Even if you didn't race, you got to prove to people you were there. So this is I got to say, don't love this color, but there was a few more kind of weird colors I didn't love. And then I got my wife like the female version of this, or maybe the female version of this. I don't remember, but I was like, all right, I'm going to go get a bunch of merch.
I find that the merch either hits or misses.
Yeah, exactly.
Really
I still don't know that I love this weird, the way they do they do like their like underscore date thing. I don't know what that's about, but can't say I love it. But they sure sell lots of it. I don't know how much money they make in merch, but oh boy, it's got to be a lot.
Yeah. It's a very pretty sport. They have you can't argue with just how pretty they have made everything. It's really great. Yeah.
All right. I think that's everything, guys. Let's make sure I got my questions right for Matlock. One is, what do we want to say?
Well, the
HYROX versus what do you call it? Versus review or whatever you call it, appeal.
Protest.
Yeah. And what was the other one?
Well, we were discussing whether or not they need a separate rule book for the Elite 15. And Dave is arguing, no, you just need to refine the rule book so it reflects both. If they're going to allow times to count, that it needs to be the same set of rules. But I still think they should be allowed to have liquid chalk. I don't.
Well, that's right. But that's whether they should or not is another issue. But that's what they said in Race Brain. Dumb rule, but if you're going to have it, you got to apply it.
Yes, or else people think that you're playing favorites.
They're absolutely right.
Yeah, Race Brain killed that.
Cheryl Snow, I hope you're a favorite. Did you yell at anybody, like when you were in Nice or in Chicago? Like, you said you hope you're a favorite?
No, it depends on the day.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'm not.
I was going to say Dave, definitely not a favorite.
No.
All right, guys. It is 12:42 a.m. A record for me, staying up late. See you later.
Good job. Thanks.
Take care.